the word, so walk on slow, let it all work in.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Araya Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. Here we're live at Dover, Delaware for race number 5 of the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. Joining me in the booth is my right-hand man, Jacob Bell, and executive producer, Harold Darner. How's it going, guys?
Great. Excited to be here at Dover International Speedway, one of the trickiest tracks I think we have on the schedule, Hunter. And I think a lot of guys were looking forward to tonight with a little bit of angst. They're not sure what to expect when they comes to the Monster Mile, and I think we're going to be in for a great show tonight.
Absolutely. Miles the Monster's the most excited here because he gets to tear up some race cars here. We've got 130 laps here tonight, so should be some plenty of side-by-side action, and could see some drivers get up in the wall.
Absolutely. The wall is going to be something to watch out for. And just like Harold said when we were talking in our pre-production meeting, Monster's going to come out and grab some people tonight. And, you know, we've seen a lot of these guys were testing throughout the week. And a common theme seems to be once that trouble breaks out and there's a couple cars sliding sideways, it's going to be really, really tough to try to avoid them.
Yeah, hopefully they can keep it clean compared to last week. Last week we had a decent amount of cautions. One of the biggest included I believe it was Rick Christensen that got into Chris Knight that was spinning down the backstretch in a hellacious sledgehammer hit.
Probably the hardest hit we've seen all season.
Yeah. Cars were up in the air, hoods were flying off. I mean, it was nuts. We go from 1.5 miles down to a mile, although depending on who you ask, does Dover race like a short track or does it race like a super speedway?
I think it's going to race like a speedway just because of the speeds we'll see on this racetrack. A lot of times when you go down to the shorter tracks like a Martinsville, like a Bristol, you see the speeds well below 100 miles per hour, down into the 60s perhaps even. That won't be the case tonight. These guys will be well above 100 miles per hour, almost all the way around the racetrack. A lot of speed in these race cars. These ARCA cars are a handful at most of the places we go to. Dover is going to accelerate that, and it's going to be an important race for a lot of these guys, but another important factor into all of this is who ends up in victory lane and can lock themselves into the playoffs. And I know we got a graphic for our playoff picture, so I think we can bring that up now to talk about, Hunter, the implications tonight could have going into the rest of the season.
Indeed. You see there the playoff picture. Only one driver with 2 wins, that being Matthew Robinson, Nick Halda, the other winner up there, along with Jordan Hurley in the 3rd spot. And there you see 4th place Eli Green. We were talking about it before we went live, and Eli Green just joined the lobby. We were going to touch up on, does he break through and get that first win? Because he seems to be in the top 5 every week. Just doesn't have it at the end, though.
Eli obviously started the season off strong at Daytona. He's one of the only drivers to have a top 10 in every single event so far this season. The other, of course, being Matthew Robinson, who's actually finished in the top 5 every race this season. But yeah, Eli's been off to a great start, so we're going to have to keep an eye on him. I think this track kind of suits his style. He seems to be an aggressive driver just by nature, and I think that'll play right into his hands here tonight at Dover. But, you know, another one of those guys I really want to take a look at is Rick Christensen. You see him all the way down there in the 8th spot for the playoff picture. He is due for a win, and he's just due for a solid run, Hunter. We see it feels like week in and week out, one of the quickest cars out there. He qualifies well, and just some form of, you know, unfortunate events or luck if you want to call it luck, just doesn't swing his way, and he really needs to find a way to break through, whether he's got to make his own luck or just hopes for a smooth night. But that 19 in Rick Christensen, he's going to be somebody to keep your eye on.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a strong run last week at Vegas before that late race yellow, which collected him and Chris Knight involved. But could very well see that Christensen machine in the victory lane position after the end of this race. Looking at Caleb Steimer there, he's the last driver, or actually, excuse me, he's the first driver outside of the cutoff, tied with Ryan Swann, both four positions, 4 points back There we go.
Technically, positions would work too, right? Every spot's or every position is a point. But yeah, I was going to mention that. Look at that playoff cutoff line from 12th of the 3 of Kevin Hayes all the way down to 19th Eric Shugart. 10 points separate those drivers, and it's tight on that playoff bubble. Obviously, Nolan Neiman, we see him 26 points back in the 20th spot, and he ran really, really strong all last week at Las Vegas. So momentum's over on the 15 side as well. So I think he's still got a chance to race his way inside that top 12. But if you're somebody in the spot of, Forrest Smith down there in 10th, Kevin Hayes, Brandon Hedrick, those guys are going to have to really, really, really hope for a smooth night here at Dover, because it can all put them on the flip side of that line after tonight.
Yeah, another name I want to touch up on there in the 7th spot, JJ Wang. He's had a really nice run to start the Araya Pro Series, brought to you by Swift Lifestyles. Really a name that we haven't really talked about much. Although he's been clean and smooth, he doesn't really seem to create much trouble or havoc in the races, and he seems to be doing a fine job so far.
Absolutely. JJ, taking a look at his stats over here, he does have one top 5 finish. It came at Daytona, and then he also finished 6th at Vegas. Outside of that, though, Iowa and Homestead, 2 finishes outside the top 15. However, like you mentioned, he has done a great job keeping that car clean, with the exception of Daytona, which, well, I think a lot of people can't really keep that car clean at Daytona, but for the most part, he's kept the fenders on the thing and gotten it to the finish, which is why he finds himself where he does when it comes to the playoff picture. So a lot of interesting names to keep our eyes on tonight, Hunter.
Yeah, one of those names being Dominic DeLeo. He's currently 2nd on our practice chart right now. And Jake, you have info on him and Mark Patterson, who's making his debut next race on their new team.
Yeah, I was able to talk to Dominic, and he put out a little press release also, which was interesting to read through. But got a chance to talk to him beforehand, and he was talking about creating this team, Fazekas Motorsports. It's going to be Dominic DeLeo's team that he is technically the owner of. He's bringing along Mark Patterson, who's going to make his debut next race in 2 weeks at Nashville, I believe, is our next race on the schedule. Obviously, we got the off week coming up, but I'll touch on the off week here in a moment as well. But yeah, Dom DeLeo gonna go ahead, start up that team. He said he realized that they were gonna be in the hole, early on. Obviously, they missed the first handful of races as a team before registering, so he's okay with that. He wanted to kind of get something rolling here and get a foundation built. And another cool part of that was the name Fazekas Motorsports is actually dedicated towards their grandfather. So that was kind of the whole reason that they wanted to bring all that together, and they thought it'd be a cool way to obviously give a little bit more meaning behind the racing that we're going to see throughout the rest of the season. So let's keep an eye on that. Obviously, we have 4 other teams already in this Swift Lifestyle Pro Series, which is absolutely awesome to see all the teams coming together the way they have once the season kicked off. So we're looking forward to the rest of the season and watching these teams battle it out.
Absolutely. We got just under 2 minutes here in our practice session before we head into qualifying for the 10-minute qualifying session. The first name that you see on the top of the charts there, James Sheenwolf. You saw in that playoff graphic, he was on the outside looking in that top 12. Bit of a shock to you that he's outside the top 12?
It is and it isn't. Obviously, we didn't see him week 1 at Daytona, which plays a huge factor, without having those points from whole races worth of position. So he had to start in the hole, but, he wasn't the only one to do that. Forrest Smith was one of those names we saw inside the playoffs. He also missed Daytona and was one of the later entries we saw, and he's worked his way up inside the top 10. But for James, it's kind of that same situation we talked about with Rick Christensen. Just got to get the luck to start going your way, right? He's one of those guys who's led a lot of laps. He's led 67 laps in the 3 races that James has been here, so he's obviously got the speed. It's just a matter of putting the race together from start to finish.
Yeah, was there you were just looking at some of the paint schemes that the drivers will be racing in tonight. I'm so used to seeing Dom DeLeo running in the Ben & Jerry's number 21. He actually switched his paint scheme. Well, so that's 87 Nick Halda. Gotta be tough for Nick Halda tonight, as his Kansas City Chiefs are playing right now. That's why the number 87 is after the tight end, Travis Kelce. There's that number 21. Eat, Sleep, Race. A new design to that number 21 of Dominic DeLeo.
Sponsor as well he's bringing in, and then you see the Audible Racing Machine, the 81 of Jeremy Horn. There's the 9 of Ryan Swan with the Rick's Hot Sauce Machine as well. So paint schemes, we get a chance to watch these guys all night long, and 3, 2, 1. Looks like the practice session's ticking down there, and we're going to get ahead and get a chance to move on over to qualifying. James Sheenwolf, though, like you mentioned, Hunter, top of the practice charts, followed by Dom DeLeo and Rick Christensen, our top 3.
And there's a look at that beautiful square Dodge. Love the look of that square body.
That's not our the regular Dodge Charger we've been accustomed to seeing, I would say. But you do get a chance to see Miles the Monster himself there. So how about that? As qualifying kicks off, first car on track, I see the 69 of Gary Lewis for One Mind to Design Motorsports.
I would have to say that car in Miles' hands might have actually been from NASCAR 2003. I mean, that's about how far back that looked.
See the 69 flashing across the screen there. He just now is starting his qualifying run. Of course, driving for One Mind to Design Motorsports, one of those guys who came in after Daytona. He finished 7th twice this season, Hunter. He's got a 7th at Las Vegas, 1.5 miles, and he also has a 7th at Homestead, 1.5 miles. The track we went to, Iowa, which is probably the most similar, you could say, so far this season to Dover. He finished 14th.
You see Gary Lewis there. He looks like he's ready to go at war with the monster here.
It's a good qualifying lap too, by the way.
Yeah.
23:22, which is exactly what he ran in practice. So the speed's consistent in the number 69. Here's the 21 of Dom DeLeo for Vizika Motorsports, working down into turn 3 and 4 on his qualifying run.
Well, Gary Lewis's teammate Forrest Smith now to the top of the charts. Now you gotta watch out here on the exits of turns 2 and 4, especially turn 4. They'll get you, and if you smack the wall, your lap time will not count.
That first lap for Dom DeLeo, 23:24, put him 4th on the charts. The top 3 right now are separated by 5 1,000ths of a second already, as Dom DeLeo is now coming to complete his second lap. He's going to have to pick up just a little bit if he wants to start on the front row tonight. And he will do it, but so does everybody else really improves on their times. A lot of guys jumping up.
Eli Green jumped all the way up to first, 23:075. Do we see someone run in the 22s?
When we were looking through the practice times, Sheenwolf was as close as we got to the 22s. He ran a 23.007, so not quite a 22-second bracket lap time, but maybe these guys are putting in another gear for qualifying. We might see it.
Yep, like the one of Trevor Williams, who's on the track right now. Close to that wall, coming across the line.
A good first lap for Trevor there, 23:14. A lot of the guys we were watching, their first lap was well into the 23:2s. He's the first one we've seen with a 23:1 on lap 1. So we'll have to see if the number 1 car can pick up here on lap 2. There's the 87, Nicholas Halda, who will forever be known as the first ever winner in ARIA. He was able to get it done at Daytona for race 1.
Yep, he's looking to build off that momentum from Daytona. Almost got into the wall there. Not sure if that'll improve his lap time. Oh, it will.
Jump up to ninth.
Yeah, 23:321. Boom.
Second lap for Trevor Williams puts him second on the charts. By Green still with the top time of a 23:07.
Oh, here's the 55 of Adam Capps. Making his way down the backstretch.
Teammates with James Sheenwolf, so maybe some notes were shared between those two as far as adjustments, and we'll see if it carries over to the 55. We saw the speed in the 31. Capps is going to run a 23:303 on his first lap, put him inside the top 10 for now. He'll look to improve here on lap 2. The Hampton, Tennessee native, obviously owning Audible Racing, and we see a lot of cars in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series with the Audible logo on them. So appreciate Adam hopping in the series, and we love having these guys, and we'll see if he picks up on lap 2.
Is down the line. Looks like
Won't improve.
So we'll stay in the 10th spot. And there's Ryan Swann, currently 5th right now with a 23:164. This is the completion of his second lap. Some good speed there out of the 9 coming down to the line. That last lap he was not quicker, so he's going to stay in the 5th spot.
It seems like the trend is if you run a run a quick lap on lap 1, we're talking under a 23:2. We haven't seen anybody pick up that second lap. It seems like if you want to get a quick second lap, you kind of take it a little bit easier on the tires on lap 1 of qualifying. So we'll see what the approach is here for James Sheenwolf. You see him jump to the high side, get that momentum built up, and try to get a huge run off the corner as he starts his first lap in the number 31 Audible Racing.
Yep, Sheenwolf was at the top of the charts for practice. We'll see if he can carry that speed to qualifying.
See, he's running the approach of taking the high side through turn 3 on his actual first lap. So I would anticipate to see an even quicker second lap for him. 3.5 for lap 1 for James Sheenwolf. I think the second lap hunter is going to be one to watch out for, though.
Yep, he's 17th out of 19 drivers right now. Still have a few drivers who have yet to put down a lap time. So he's going to work his way through turns 3 and 4 on his second lap. Coming down to the line. A 23.067. Put him to the top of the charts. He's first again.
This is a really strong second lap, and kind of what I was mentioning there, Hunter. I was watching the qualifying approaches these guys had, and I noticed when he ran high on his first lap, I said, you might want to watch out for the second lap. And of course, there he goes right to the top of the charts for James Sheenwolf, 23.067.
Yep, 8/1000ths of a second faster than Eli Green, and 2 of the last 5 drivers who have yet to put down a lap time are on the track right now, those being J.J. Wang and Jordan Hurley.
Hurley, we've seen his qualifying runs throughout the season. 2 races, 2 poles for the O2.
Could we make it 3 in a row? This is the 00 J.J. Wang. The only drivers who have yet to put out a lap time, Jeremy Horn, Brendan Hedrick, and Brian Dixon. Those 3 have yet to go on the track.
DJ Wang's first lap as he works through turn 3 and 4. The O2 just crossed the stripe. JJ's first lap time is going to be a 24.13, so a little bit off pace there for the 00. The O2, though, coming out of turn 2, he's going to push it and try to get to the top of the charts here on lap 2. Can he keep his qualifying streak alive?
Coming out of turn 4, looking for 3 in a row in poles. Got a little loose there coming out of turn 4, down the line.
For the lap time to
third.
update. Oh, close, though. That's a good effort there.
Yep.
Off.
Third for Jordan Hurley with a 23.125.
You know what that does, though, Hunter? That keeps the average start at least pretty high up there.
Oh, absolutely.
It looks like he won't get the pole and he won't get that bonus point. Few drivers left, includes Brian Dixon, Jeremy Horn, and Brandon Hedrick. Haven't seen any 3 of those guys post a time quicker than a 23.2, so not quite sure if they'll be able to best the lap time of James Sheenwolf. So for all purposes, we'll say right now, it looks like the 31 of James Sheenwolf has secured his pole spot.
Yep, and Eli Green keeping that strong run going that he's had since the drop of the green flag at Daytona. Looking like he'll start second, depending on the last 3 drivers, if they do qualify.
Give a big shout out to everybody tuning on the Twitch channel, up to 30 viewers almost already. So appreciate everybody stopping by and watching coverage of race number 5 of the Swift Lifestyles Pro Series. Obviously, Hunter and Harold are the real stars here who keep it together throughout the week, but I get to jump in here on Mondays, and it's awesome to see the chat cheering on. Looks like we had a lot of fans of Trevor Williams, so we'll have to keep an eye on the number 1 throughout the race.
Yep, Trevor Williams got a pretty solid fan base. He's in the 4th spot right now, just by 1/1000th over Dominic DeLeo, who is in the 5th spot.
Obviously, I miss Drew Trader as well, cheering on the One Mind to Design Motorsports team, so I'll give them a shout out as well. But you guys down in chat, keep them coming. We love to read through the chat throughout the race, especially when we get into cautions and whatnot. It gives us something to look at and talk back with, so we appreciate everybody checking out the channel, though.
Got about a minute left in qualifying. I don't think we'll see anyone else go out, although in the past we have seen drivers go out. Oh, as soon as I say that, I think Jeremy Horn's on the track right now.
If I was a driver, Hunter, that's what I would do. I would wait till the last possible second to go out there because I want that sun to get as far away as possible, even if it's only a few minutes of a difference. I feel like that track temp drop in even if it's a fraction of a degree, will help you with laying down a quick lap. And looks like Jeremy Horn's just sitting on the end of pit road, so he's not actually going to make a qualifying attempt, it looks like, as the time is ticking down.
Ooh, I think that'll do it. Take a look at our weather here, presented by Lottie'sTravelWorld.com. It's partly cloudy right now, air temp 73, track temp 76, humidity at 74, and then the winds are from the southwest at 10 miles per hour.
The big thing for me right now is that track temp being all the way down at 76. That's a pretty low track temp. That'll give these drivers some extra grip that they may need, especially with a track like Dover. I mean, Monster Mile, you see it right there on the wall. This thing is probably going to have a lot of victims tonight. So one day after Halloween, we get to visit the monster.
Absolutely. Hope he doesn't steal any of my candy.
Not trick-or-treating, Hunter.
Yeah.
You dress up as? You got a costume? What is it?
It's myself. I am my own costume. All right, let's take a look at your starting lineup here for tonight's Dover 130. Starting on the pole will be James Sheenwolf on the inside, and to his outside is Eli Green in the 28.
Last week's winner at Las Vegas, Jordan Hurley, looking to roll into Dover with some momentum. He'll start third. Outside of him, Trevor Williams.
Row number 3, it'll be Dominic DeLeo in the 21, and alongside him, Rick Christensen in the 19.
Swann will roll off inside row 4. Outside of him, the driver for Samson Motorsports, Sean Corcoran.
Row number 5, it'll be teammates. Forrest Smith starting 9th, and then alongside him, Gary Lewis starting 10th.
P11 is where we'll see Matthew Robinson, and outside of him will be the 55 of Adam Capps.
Row 7, we'll find the number 92 of Dustin Carroll, and alongside him, Nick Halda.
Nolan Neiman's going to roll off 15th in the number 15, and starting 16th for Samson Motorsports will be Bobby Tinch.
In row number 9, we'll have the 2 of Eric Shugart, and alongside him will be the 34 of Rick Ward.
AJ Wang and Kevin Hayes will make up row 10.
There's row 11, Caleb Steimer in the 18, and then Jeremy Horn in the 81.
And Brian Dixon and Brandon Hedrick will round out our starting field tonight. 24 drivers as they make their way through turn 2. Hunter, who's your pick tonight?
I'm going to go with the 28 of Eli Green. I think he finally gets it done tonight.
Okay. What you got, Harold?
You know, I'm going to go for a fan favorite. We're going to go with Dominic DeLeo.
Okay, I like that pick. I'm going to go with the 31 of James Sheenwolf. I think he breaks through and gets his first win of the season tonight. Let us know down in chat who your guys' pick for the race is as well, so we'll be sure to look at that. And for the drop of the green flag, I'll hand it over to Hunter.
Yep, Pace truck making the hard left turn on the pit road. James Sheenwolf on the inside, and to the outside, Eli Green. Got 130 laps here tonight at Dover, and there goes the 31. Green flag in the air. We're underway at Dover.
A huge launch for James Sheenwolf getting down at the turn 1. He stretched it out to almost 5 car lengths already. He'll take a commanding lead over Eli Green. Jordan Hurley and Trevor Williams will fall in line. First battle we see is for 5th. That's between Rick Christensen up top and Dominic DeLeo working the bottom.
Oh, battle for the lead. Eli Green just took it away from Sheenwolf there, and he's going to lead the first lap.
It looked like Sheenwolf got real sideways there through turn 3 and 4. Might have caught him off guard, Hunter, but he corralled it in, and it's going to hand the lead over to Eli Green. So Eli's going to get a point for a lap led. Right now, James Sheenwolf hasn't led a lap yet, and he was our pole sitter.
Yep, that lap car you just saw coming onto the racetrack was Jeremy Horn. Must have missed the initial start. He is currently 1 lap down, although it's very early in this race.
Eli runs the quickest lap out front. It's going to be interesting to see if James Sheenwolf's going to be able to now reel him back in. We're riding on board. I believe that's going to be the number 22. Excuse me, that's the 66 there, Bobby Tinch. It's all Northern Capital, so I figured I had a 50% chance of getting there right.
Yep, he's currently looking at... Oh! Got a spin. It's the 21 of DeLeo.
Nice.
Looks like he hit the inside wall, but we're still green. Got to see what happened there. Starting in the top 5 and just had a rough going there on the front stretch. Damage to the front of the car.
Looking back on it, here we get a chance to look at the replay. Obviously, no caution comes out, but it was right here off of turn 4. He was running in front of the 9 of Ryan Swan, and he made that transition from the banked corners onto the front straightaway, and it just kind of got away from him a little bit. It looks like it's actually going to be the next lap around. Got away from him a little bit, got a little sideways, and then hit the inside wall a ton, but other than that, and go sideways. He didn't loop it around, so the caution flag did not fly, but he is on pit road already, Hunter.
Yeah, we saw in practice where turn 2 and turn 4 would be the trouble spots on corner exit. Here you'll get a good look of it. Just
There it
got
is.
loose there and just smacked the wall hard. Amazing that no one else was collected in that.
Oh, and we just had a battle for the lead with the 28 of Eli Green, the 31 of James Sheenwolf, and Eli Green touched the wall a little bit. He was wicked sideways. It's going to hand the lead over to the 31.
And that's going to put the 0-2 of Jordan Hurley in the second spot. Eli Green stays in third. The one of Trevor Williams still fourth, and then Ryan Swann still in the top 5.
I need somebody to fact check me, and I know it's really early to say this, but I think I picked the correct winners the last 2 weeks. I picked the 31 of James Sheenwolf tonight. Just throwing that out there.
Well, Dominic DeLeo is definitely not happy with my pick.
No. We're going back to the Harold jinxing other people topic. Seriously, he's building that lead now to about 1 second, close to a second, over the 0-2 of Hurley.
That damage, it's light damage on the 28 car of Eli Green, but it's enough to where it might affect his speed a little bit. So we'll have to keep tabs on that. I feel like every week, Hunter, we've had some form of damage on the 28 that he's had to overcome week in and week out, it feels like.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, car got loose there coming off turn 2. Not sure if that car hit the wall or not.
As
Surprised
Nick Halda, there, the track racer 87, did not make contact with the wall, but he did slide up quite a bit there. That really should looking at Matthew Robinson, 87 is back further.
I think that'll be a trend. We'll see that all week, I think, at Dover. It's just that transition into the corner and then transition off of the corners. You're either going into banking heavy or you're getting off of the banking onto the flat straightaways, and just really upsets the balance of the race cars, and sometimes it'll just kind of catch you off guard out of nowhere and you got to catch it.
Looked like JJ Wang was stuck in the wall there coming out of turn 4. I don't know, looked like he was just stuck to it. Although, not as bad here as it was last week at Las Vegas. So here's Gary Lewis in the 9th spot. Going at war with Miles the Monster today. Well, we've got quite a bit of cars loose there. Coming off of 4.
Tough break for Dominic DeLeo, already in the pits, losing laps, 6 laps down now, trying to get the repairs on that 21 machine, but unfortunate to not see him running up front because I think he had a lot of speed tonight.
One driver who doesn't look like he has a speed right now is Ryan Swann. He's starting to fall back now. He was running in the top 5 at one point. Got passed by Rick Christensen and Trevor Williams. Matthew Robinson also, and he's trying to hold on to the 7th spot from Sean Corcoran.
Big movers so far, though. How about the 40 and Matthew Robinson, obviously? He started 11th. He's moved up to 6th, and he's kind of reeling in the number 1 of Trevor Williams for that final top five spot. Another one, JJ Wang. We saw him start 19th. He's worked his way up to 12th, so those guys are moving some positions in a hurry. Other than that, it looks like maybe the 18 of Caleb Steimer's also gained some spots, but we see him in 14th still, so a lot of movers and shakers early on, but up front, it's James Sheenwolf and Jordan Hurley.
Yeah, Caleb Steimer's up 7 spots. He started in the 21st spot. Oh, and Swan in the wall.
That was a big hit. that
Big
one's
hit on the 9.
He holds it in, and he brings it back down in line. Obviously, he's off speed, but the damage in that 9 might be pretty significant, so we'll have to see if he decides to bring it down pit road or not.
There's that 18 of Caleb Steimer.
This logjam we're starting to see between 3rd place Eli Green all the way back to 6th place Matthew Robinson now, it feels like Trevor Williams and Matthew Robinson might be quicker than the 2 cars in front of him, and they're starting to show that a little bit as he reels in the 1 and they all kind of reel in Eli Green. Looks like the 1's actually going to move out the way for the 40 here. Now to turn 4, you see the 40 look low going down into turn 1. Will make the pass, so move Matthew Robinson up to 5th.
Yep, the 40 car looking like he's on rails for the moment. Passing the 1 of Williams, moving into the top 5. Now he's got Rick Christensen to focus on.
9 has made the call to pit road, so the damage on that 9 car is going to have to get repaired, it sounds like, and he's making his way down. Tough break already for a few drivers, Hunter. Working lap 18 here. We're going to jump to a quick commercial break, but our subscribers won't miss a thing.
Yep, they will not miss the 0-2 of Jordan Hurley, taking the lead away from the 31 of James Sheenwolf. It's going to be our third different leader of the night.
Just like that, the 0-2 after a strong run at Vegas. I was wondering if the momentum would carry over into Dover. He get the poles, so he's not 3 for 3 on poles, but he's looking to go back-to-back on wins. And the one thing I wanted to talk about with the 0-2 of Jordan Hurley, he cannot miss another race the rest of the season. He's already at that limit because he joined, later on into the season. So if he misses one more race, he would not be playoff eligible. So the wins will help him stack up some playoff points, but he's got to make sure he's here for the rest of the regular season to remain eligible.
Yep. Oh, look at this battle right there. That's for the third spot. Eli Green, Rick Christensen, Matthew Robinson. You're running on board with Trevor Williams right here.
Rick is going to slide right in front of Eli.
Green! Oh, Green's trying to hold on to that car. He smacked the wall coming out of 4. He keeps it straight. Still no caution yet.
Save, though.
Yeah, amazing save from Eli Green.
I was gonna say, I was like, if you're a Rick Christensen fan right now, you're holding your breath watching him try to make a pass. It just feels like if something was gonna go wrong, it was there, and it almost got him again.
Almost, but not quite there. You see the 9 of Ryan Swan there, just back onto the racetrack. He's currently 2 laps down in the 23rd spot.
Yeah, still on pit road in the 21. I would have expected that repair to be a little bit shorter than it has been, but.
That was the 15 of Nolan Neiman. Looked like he got where he was close to hitting the wall there. Eli Green got to the 69 of Gary Lewis there coming out of turn 4. Everyone once again keeping it straight. Still no caution there. That was almost close for the 1-2 Design Motorsports drivers.
And we mentioned they started side by side, the 84 and the 69, and they kind of worked their way through traffic side by side as well. So moving the 69 of Forrest Smith, or the 69 of Gary Lewis, and the 84 of Forrest Smith up to 7th and 8th now, just starting 9th and 10th. Green flag racing though, we've had some chaos, some close calls, but nothing to warrant a caution flag yet. Lap 25 of the Run Hunter. I think these guys might only go about 50 to 55 laps in terms of fuel and on their tires. So we'll have to see what that ends up being, and of course that'll carry over into tomorrow night's race as well at Dover.
Indeed, it will for the Northern Capital Truck Series that will be on tomorrow night on the Uriah Twitch channel. The top 2 have basically checked out from the rest of the field. Robinson is about 3 seconds or so behind the second place driver, James Sheenwolf, who's now 1 second behind leader Jordan Hurley. So we got some drivers who have gone down pit road. Looks like Eric Shugard might have been out of the race.
Pulled it into the garage. He's done in the number 2. Not quite sure what happened to him, but I'd imagine it was probably something similar to what we've seen already with these guys getting sideways and hitting the wall and not quite bringing out a caution. Looks like we got a replay here. This is just him bringing it down the pit road.
Yeah, him putting it on the pit road. The 34 of Rick Ward's also 3 laps down. Not really sure what went on there. Oh,
one guy coming off of pit road. It is Rick Ward, actually. It's the 34 that's coming off of pit road already. Up front, though, Jordan Hurley, he's kind of starting to set sail a little bit, Hunter. He's got over a second advantage on James Sheenwolf, and then a 4.5 second advantage back to Matthew Robinson.
Yeah, Hurley's really starting to check out now from the second place driver there, Sheenwolf. So it's another driver on pit road. Who is that?
That's
that's Dominic D'Elia.
Okay, I was looking through. I couldn't find who it was either. I was said the 81, but I knew it wasn't him. Hunter, I was going to mention, though, one of the things we got to look out for here in about, maybe another 5 or 10 laps, these guys might start catching lap traffic, which is something they, haven't really had to deal with outside of pit stops in a green flag pit cycle. But, 20 seconds back from the leader right now is the 66 of Bobby Tinch. So that's only about 4 seconds in front of him. That means probably about
someone's on the inside wall there on the front stretch.
Which you're trying to find.
Yeah, one of the cars.
0-0, JJ Wang. But he is rolling right now, but he is rolling very, very slowly.
That's the 9 of Ryan Swan on pit road again. This is just been chaotic race. all this carnage and still no caution. All right, well, JJ Wang was having a bit of a solid night, and I feel like
he missed pit road. Yeah, I don't know. I was watching through it. Looks like he just missed pit road and came to like a stop and then got going. No caution, though.
Nope, no caution. Stay green. 33 laps in. Less than 100 laps to go already. And lap time's ticking down quick. There's that's the number 92 of Dustin Carroll. '28 of Eli Green's now falling outside the top 10. Nick Halda in the 87's got that spot. Bit of a tough night for Nicholas Halda. Number 80.
Oh, wrecking on the front.
Oh, it's the
33. Looks like
Brian Dixon, the 33 car going around.
Off guard. I did not see that coming.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at how that happened on our one to go replay. Oh, Caleb Steimer got on the wall up there, and there was just a the driver behind the 33 didn't check up in time and sent the 33 spinning around. Trying to find out what was that the 60? I'm trying to figure out what car that was.
It was Rick Ward and Brian Dixon.
Rick Ward, okay. So there you see you got a good bit of drivers that are going down pit road, including Jordan Hurley, James Sheenwolf, Matthew Robinson, basically the entire top 5 coming down pit road. Top 10 also. This is where you'll see the drivers using their first of 3 tire sets here.
This caution kind of a break for those guys that we were talking about, Hunter, that were about to go a lap down. The 66, the 12, the leaders were catching them in a hurry, and they get the the privilege of catching back up to the pace car and getting the pit with the leaders and under yellow flag. So eliminates that variable of a green flag pit stop. Another thing it's going to do is kind of space out these guys' tire sets, right? Because with as you see, the race off of pit road there is pretty close between Jordan Hurley and James Sheenwolf. But with 3 tire sets in the pits, these guys would. If they were to space it out and make it a 3-stop race, they would come down about every 35 laps or so almost anyways. So this kind of works right into their favor. Obviously from here though, Hunter, I think they only got to come down pit road once if the thing goes green to the end, and that'll just be for fuel after about 60 laps or so.
Yeah, I was just going to touch up this first caution. It was a big break for the 81 of Jeremy Horn. He missed the initial start and was a lap down from the start of it. And right now he's going to be back on the lead lap. So big break there for the 81 of Jeremy Horn. I think, where's Caleb Steimer? Okay, Caleb Steimer's still on the track. Okay. Here he is, that's the 18. Just had to update my scoring because it showed him off the track.
Interesting seeing Robinson coming high.
Speeding penalty on the 40. I was trying to find it.
So Matthew Robinson.
Listening in, I felt like a lot of drivers were saying the same thing. They said, look, I wasn't paying attention there. Next thing I know, I was speeding. So Robinson gets nabbed on a speeding penalty there. That'll put him back to the end.
Yep, and this could be a bad break for the Robinson machine, because we've seen, and I'm comparing this to drivers opting not to qualify. We've seen drivers choose not to qualify, then they start in the back, and then they get caught up in an incident early on. This could be a bad break for the 40 Robinson here if we go back green, and that does happen.
Absolutely.
So we got 18 cars on the lead lap, the first of those being a lap down. Brian Dixon, the 33. JJ Wang would be the next one in the 20th spot. Those are the only 2 cars 1 lap down. Everyone else behind them, more than 1 lap down.
Break for Jeremy Horn, though, right? Getting that free pass and being able to get back on the lead lap after starting in pit lane.
Yep. Well, it looks like we're going to get the one to go.
We'll have to see, how this run plays out between Jordan Hurley and James Sheenwolf. On the initial start of the race, the 02 who grabbed the lead right away, and then the 31 took it back, and then the 02 got it back again. Or, excuse me, it was the 28 actually, I believe, wasn't it? That Eli Green took that lead away. So spoke there, I guess. But it'll be interesting to see this dynamic though between this front row, because I think right now what we've seen so far in 38 laps, the 02 and the 31 seem like the 2 quickest cars on track.
Oh, absolutely. And I would say the 28 of Eli Green would be up there with him also, but he's starting deep in this field because he smacked the wall a couple times, and now he's going to restart in the 18th spot. So you see the pace truck leading the field around 3 and 4, and then the dives down the pit road, the 02 of Jordan Hurley. Then the lead of the field back green here, close to 90 to go here at Dover for race number 5 of the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series.
Not the same launch we saw James Sheenwolf get on the first start of the race. He was able to check out by about 5 car lengths over second. This time, the 02 has got his back bumper all filled up with the 31 of James Sheenwolf as they barrel down into turn 3 and 4.
Yep, the 02 looking like he's going to slide up high. Sheenwolf ready to pounce at any given moment. So they've already gapped about a second back from the 3rd place car, Rick Christensen. Oh, Sheenwolf, he wanted to make a move there, had a run, then he clipped the banking part, had to back out of the throttle.
I get the privilege of looking at a different angle while we're watching this battle up front, and just visually looking at it, man, Matthew Robinson's already over a straightaway behind the leaders. It's going to be a really, really tough fight to get back all the way through the field, and then additionally hunt down the front too.
So there you see the top 2 from the helicopter view. 02 running about a half a lane up in the middle of the corner. Sheenwolf with a nice run on corner exit.
Watching James and seeing how he's racing the 02 here as he puts down the quickest lap, which fits exactly into what I was about to say. I think the 31's way quicker on the short runs, but I think the 02 seems to have the advantage on the long run. Right now, as you see the 31 now make the move by the 02 for the top spot, it'll be interesting to watch how the 31's able to take care of his equipment and his tires on the longer run, because we've already seen the 02 kind of be the quicker one when it comes to 10, 15, 20 lap green flag run.
I was just about to say, it looked like the 02 of Hurley just said, all right, you got the faster car right now, I'll let you go, and then I'll catch you back. I'll catch you back in like 10 laps or so.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, right? Because I think he knows it too. I think he thinks, look, if I let the 31 get out front, you see the 66 off pace there. He actually smacked the wall really hard. But if he lets the 31 of James Sheenwolf get out front, he knows that James might run through there and burn up his tires quicker than he would if he was running behind him.
He's still on the apron there. That's Bobby Tinch in the 66. He's actually going to come back down on the pit road.
Other car on the wall, it's the 18 of Caleb Steimer, pulled down right in front of the 3. It was almost calamity there between those 2 drivers. Like Caleb's kind of got his hands full right now on that 18 machine. Front though, continues to be settled, and right here is where the chaos has been watching this 18 car, and a lot of these guys with varying speeds, because we mentioned Matthew Robinson with the speeding penalty, he got put at the back, had to come through the field here. A lot of guys have already, hit the wall a ton, and they got a damaged vehicle, so it's a lot of different drivers kind of all bunched up together here. It's been a little chaotic to watch. Front though, Jordan Hurley is on the back bumper once again now of James Sheenwolf. He almost pushed him to get down into turn 3. He's laid up a little bit, so he's spaced it out some, but up front, those two are still battling for the race lead once they get down here into turns 1 and 2. Working lap 47 already.
Yep, and they still have a 1 second gap over third place car Rick Christensen, who's slowly starting to gap himself from fourth place driver Trevor Williams.
And it just doesn't seem, and it's still early on, only 47 laps in, but so far it doesn't seem like Rick has that speed, Rick Christensen that is, that we've seen in the other races. The longer the runs went, at Las Vegas and the other tracks, the quicker he seemed to have gotten. Not quite seen that yet from the 19. He qualified 6th, so not as strong as qualifying run of the season either. So looks like right now the 02 and the 31 kind of got his number.
There, see, things have slowly calmed down throughout the field, at least for the top 10 at the moment. Looks like Halda's got the 15 of Nolan Neiman behind him.
The Infinite Gaming machine of Rick Christensen, by the way, so it's pretty cool to have Infinite Gaming racing alongside us. Interesting, Hunter, because right now, about 10 laps into this run, this is like that transition point where it goes from a short run to a long run. So it's almost like a hurricane, right? It's all hectic at the beginning. There's stuff flying everywhere. And then you get to the eye of the storm and it calms down for a few laps, and then it comes right back into hectic and chaos and stuff flying everywhere. And that's what happens when you get to about 10 to 15, 20 laps into a run. There's that little lull where everybody kind of evens out, and then the people that save their tires better start to come towards the front.
Yeah, we definitely have a few of those drivers, and you mentioned earlier the 02 of Hurley seems like he's got the longer run compared to the 31 of Sheenwolf, who's got the short run car. Should be seeing that in a few laps as we're riding on board with Nick Halda. Looking behind the 84 of Forrest Smith, this is about for the 8th spot.
But Forrest Smith and Gary Lewis, that One Mind to Design team, have done a tremendous job this season of just finishing these races, running all the laps, staying out of trouble, which is exactly what they needed to do, right? They came in after week 1 at Daytona. They knew they were in a little bit of a points hole for the team championship behind Samson Motorsports. The prerogative really has just been try to run all the laps, and the next thing you know, when you look at the results page, the 69 and the 84 have all these top 10s that they're racking up, and they're moving up in the standings quickly, and that's why you see Forrest Smith already 9th in points with 3 top 10s in 3 races. His teammate Gary Lewis with 2 top 10s in 3 races. So they've done a really, really strong job of being consistent so far, and that's exactly what we're seeing tonight.
You just saw there the last couple of laps, the 40 of Robinson passing the 87 of Nick Halda. Had a big run there coming out of turn 4 and just passed him on the front stretch. Halda actually got into the wall there coming down the back stretch.
Funny, you see the teammates running, right next to each other. You got the 69 and the 84 there, and then right behind them, the track racer team with the 40 and Matthew Robinson, and the 87 and Nick Halda. So interesting shot there. As you see up front, Sheenwolf doing a better job, I think, this run, Hunter, of kind of maintaining that lead and not burning through his tires too quickly, as the gap is kind of settled about half a second between him and the 02.
Yeah, I'm looking at their lap times. They're running very similar laps. Not one being way faster than the other, although Sheenwolf a little bit quicker, but nothing too major.
Those two the quickest cars on track still, the 31 and the 02, or is there somebody further back that's making quick laps?
Matthew Robinson ran a lap time faster than the front two. Ran a 24.076. Sheenwolf ran a 0.89, and Hurley ran a 0.92.
Keep in mind, that's within traffic, too, so that's pretty impressive to see the 40 is running as quick as he is. He's actually caught up now to the back bumper of the 84, so we're about to see a 3-car battle for 7th between the teammates. And also, here's the battle up front now. The 02 is reeled in the 31 in quick order. I think those tires are starting to kick in, and the long run is coming in for the 02.
Yep, Sheenwolf trying to hold on. He leaves that little bit of room there on the bottom for the 02 to slide underneath. Side by side down the backstretch. Actually, the 02 of Hurley's going to stay tucked in. Going to stay behind the 31 as they roll through turns 3 and 4 right here.
This is where Dover differs from most tracks. You mentioned it perfectly, Hunter. That 31's leaving him that little bit of space on the bottom, and that allows the 02 to kind of get there on the exit of the corners, but Dover is such a sketchy racetrack when it comes to that, because that one little bobble between the 31, that transition onto the straightaways, and he gets loose, and next thing you know, the 02 is in his left rear, so it's a really, really tricky racetrack to try to make a pass on.
Yeah, Hurley, oh, there you saw Sheenwolf get a little loose there coming out turn 4. Hurley's trying to back it up in the corner and try and diamond it to where he can get that run on the bottom and propel him down the straights. This is the view out of the back of Sheenwolf. It's at 02 now, starting to reel him in again, and here he comes. Oh, almost contact there. Trying to make a move down on the bottom, and they're side by side for the lead going into 1.
02 is going to take it. Now we'll have to see if he's able to stretch out the margin over the 31 of James Sheenwolf. But for the second week in a row, the 02 of Jordan Hurley's up front, almost halfway through this thing. As you see the battle between the 40 and Matthew Robinson, it's like a 4-car train from 7th place Gary Lewis all the way back to 10th place Nicholas Halda. Those 4 cars are under a blanket, and they're battling extremely hard just outside of the top 5. You see them there in the middle of your screen.
Oh, on pit road, Kevin Hayes in the 3 just went down pit road, made a pit stop.
Might be trying to do 2 green flag pit stops, so he might be one of the few doing a 3-stop race as opposed to a 2-stop race. But there you see the battle I was talking about. The 40 Matthew Robinson on the bottom, the 84 of Forrest Smith up high. Looks like Robinson's finally able to get around one of the one-minded design team cars, and he's going to have to now make his move on the 69 of Gary Lewis next.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if pitting under green, trying to do that 2-stop strategy is going to work, because you pit under green, well, Hayes is actually 3 laps down.
There's a little bit of damage on that race car as well, so it might have been a pit for damage as well.
His pit stop was, I want to say, it's 32 seconds.
Mention Ryan Swan, the second retiree of the night. He's brought his car to the garage, so he will join the number 2 of Eric Shugart. It's the only 2 drivers out of this event.
Yep, right now we got 15 cars on the lead lap. That you just saw Caleb Steimer. He is the last one on the lead lap.
That 02 is quick, Hunter. When he gets out front, I mean, he's already stretched it out to a second advantage. He is very, very fast on the long runs.
Yeah, he's already stretched it to about 1 second over James Sheenwolf. We're about to cross the halfway point. Let's go ahead and give our halfway rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor, Swift Lifestyles, for clean supplements that help improve your focus and gaming. Use discount code AREA iRacing, that's AREA iRacing, for 15% off your entire order. We'd like to give a big thank you to Swift Lifestyles for their support of the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. Jordan Hurley, he seems to have the longer run car compared to second place driver James Sheenwolf. Hurley's about to lead his 30th lap of the night. And then right behind him, starting to pull away oh so much from the 31 of James Sheenwolf, who's led just about 1 more lap than the 02 of Hurley, although that's going to change quite a bit. But these top 2 seem to be the 2 to beat tonight.
And you got 3rd place Rick Christensen, who's had another solid run tonight. You kind of hold your breath. You want him to make it to the end without having any unfortunate incidents or just bad luck striking that 19 team, which we've seen all season long. So far, though, so clean for the 19 of Rick Christensen. And then in the 4th spot, Sean Corcoran carrying the banner so far for Samson Motorsports. We saw the struggles with his teammate Bobby Tinch earlier on in the race, but that Northern Capital 22 has found its way inside the top 5 yet again.
Yeah, but that brings us to 5th place driver Dustin Carroll in that Jimmy Johnson-like paint scheme in the number 92 Audible Machine. Worked his way to the top 5, and he's looking to replicate what Jimmy Johnson had here at Dover. Won over 11 times. See if he can do that today. Trevor Williams there, the driver behind him in the 6th spot. Had a bit of a quiet night, if you will. He's been in the top 5, but he really hasn't faded much. Stayed out of trouble, and he's looking to continue with a solid run here tonight.
You got Matthew Robinson in 7th. He was one of the guys who was able to work his way inside the top 5 after qualifying 11th. Caution flag came out. He came down pit road. It was a speeding penalty that sent him back to the rear of the field. He's worked his way back up to 7th, though, already, and he's looking to lead his teammate, Nick Calda, there in the 87, who's been running around the 8th and 9th spot all night long. He's been battling with the 2 drivers behind him for much part of this race so far, so we'll have to see what the 87's got once we get to the later stages of this race.
There's also fighting not to look at the Chiefs game, which is currently on right now. His favorite team, as there you see, that's 84 Forrest Smith there in the 192 Design Motorsports machine. He and teammate Gary Lewis have driven themselves into the top 10, and they've both had a solid night. Gary Lewis still looking like he's at war with the monster. We complete our halfway rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles.
Up front, nothing's really changed, Hunter. It's still Jordan Hurley showing the way, with James Sheenwolf running second. The gap has actually grown now to over 2 seconds for the 02. I mean, the speed on that race car in the long run is just unparalleled. He's running a 24.6, 24.5. Compared to the rest of the field, he's almost 0.4 quicker a lap.
The only other driver that I can see that's close somewhat on lap times, it's actually Forrest Smith. He ran a 24.7 flat that last lap. And he's back in the 9th spot.
You see Matthew Robinson there on your screen for a moment. He's going to work on the number 1 of Trevor Williams now. It's going to be a battle for 6 as they work through turn 1 and 2. Top side of the racetrack goes to 1. Bottom side of the racetrack goes to 40. It's going to bring along the 87 of Nick Calda right now. Not what the number 1 of Trevor Williams wanted to see, as he was just inside the top 5 a handful of laps ago. And now he's going backwards. He's gotten passed by the 40. He's gotten passed now by the 87, and here comes the 84 of Forrest Smith.
Yep, looks like the one of Williams trying to hold on to whatever he can. The longer run doesn't seem to be fitting his driving style.
Right now, our leader is in lap traffic, and he's in heavy lap traffic. It's the 02 of Jordan Hurley. He got around the first lap car of Rick Ward. Now he's got the 18 of Caleb Steimer. He's putting 1 lap down, and just in front of him, it's going to be the 55 of Adam Capps. Already a few laps down. So the 02, for a second there, I looked up and I saw, caution's out on the racetrack.
Now caution's out, the second caution of the night here, lap number 76. Trying to look and see, or I want to go replay, what brought out this second caution. Looks like you got Eli Green and Dominic DeLeo. Eli Green got loose, clipped the 21 of DeLeo. That treacherous turn 4, we saw it bring out our first caution. We see it bringing out our second caution again.
And Eli went sliding onto the inside of the racetrack, hit the wall pretty good. No other cars collected, though, other than those 2, so somewhat of a good break for the rest of the field, but just another awful night for the number 21 of Dominic DeLeo. Just an innocent bystander in this wreck here as the 28 hit the wall and got sideways. It's something easy to do, right? I mean, this racetrack is one of the more difficult ones on the schedule. Right there, we saw, as Harold mentioned pre-race, the monster came and grabbed the number 28 of Eli Green.
Yep, that replay was brought to you by Northern Capital. We'd like to give a big thank to Russ and Steve Anderson at Northern Capital for their support of the Northern Capital Truck Series, and from all of us here at Orion, which you can catch tomorrow night's Northern Capital Truck Series on the Orion Twitch channel. Let's get a little race recap going from Elwood Designs. Jordan Hurley currently your leader as they make their way down pit road doing pit stops. Has led the most laps at 41. 2 cautions now, or his most recent one coming out on lap number 76, and James Sheenwolf with a 23.173 for the fastest lap of the race so far. So that can very well change. I think we might see a new fast lap on the next restart.
There goes the 02 out of pit lane, followed by the 31 and a few others, as these guys are just now completing their pit stops. And Hunter, I kind of mentioned on the first caution with the lap 35 timing of it, it kind of allowed these guys to make it into a 3-stop race. Well, this one falls on lap 78. We'll call it lap 80 just for the sake of math. So these guys are going to have 50 laps to go once they get the green flag. They should be able to make it on fuel. The question is, if we get another caution later in the race, these guys are going to be able to come down and take yet another set of tires. So
looks like
tires for
Steimer,
these guys.
I don't know if Steimer's out of fuel or not. He's really slow on the apron. He's going on 43 laps on his fuel run. There he is right there. I don't know, he just seemed really slow going down the backstretch and on the apron. He was getting passed by multiple drivers. Steimer is in, and the 28 of Eli Green is in. Those 2 stayed out, but now they're both in. That's going to cycle the lead to Jordan Hurley, Sheenwolf in second, Christensen, Dustin Carroll, and Matthew Robinson, your top 5 right now.
Step aside real quick for another quick commercial break, but obviously our subscribers are going to hang along with us here as we're working our second caution of the night here at Dover. What was your title over the race here tonight, Hunter? I couldn't remember what you put down.
I switched at the last second to Down in Delaware 130. I wanted to include the Delaware River in it because we are in Dover, Delaware. And at one point I had it titled Down in the Delaware River 130.
There you go. Oh. We're over halfway now, though, so we're gonna have 50 to go. I think business is gonna start picking up here, and if anything, another caution or two. Let's say these guys go about 20 or 30 laps or so. If we get another caution with about 25 to go, I think that plays right into the hands of James Sheenwolf. Obviously, we saw the long run and what Jordan Hurley was able to do. The shorter runs, though, if we get there, I think that'll be a game changer for this entire race.
Yeah, it very well could be.
What a break, by the way, for Matthew Robinson. I mean, he was super far behind the top 2 guys just, due to that penalty and that speeding penalty sending him to the back. He worked his way up to 5th, and the caution came out at the perfect time because he got around most of the field, and now he gets the track position back as well and gets the restart right behind our leaders.
Yeah, but there you see, that was the one to go. Going green this time by. Lights are out on the pace track, and when they cross the line, we will have 50 laps to go here at Dover. Very quick race. The lap times are ticking by pretty quick.
We'll see on Thursday when we got 160 laps here. It should add a little bit of time, but like you said, for the most part, kind of a quicker race. The mile track is tough, though, so it might be quick to us, but I guarantee you these drivers are just wishing this thing was already over with. This track it's a tough one, man. It really is.
Yeah, it's caused a lot of problems for some of these drivers tonight, although only 2 cautions for it. There have been plenty of drivers smacking the wall, hitting the wall, spinning out. Still got 50 laps left in this one. So don't count out on the excitement just yet. Miles the Monster is still hungry. Pace truck down pit road, and the 0-2 of Hurley's going to lead us back under green. 50 to go. And there's the flagman. There you go. Putting some elbow grease into that flag waving.
Barney the flagman, he's doing his job up there.
Well, Robinson just moved up a spot. He's in the 4th position now, and he's looking for that 3rd spot. They stuck in behind Christensen, but up front, Hurley pulling away from Sheenwolf.
That'll be interesting to watch that battle for 3rd between Matthew Robinson and Rick Christensen. I think Robinson's going to want to get by him in a hurry so he doesn't let the 0-2 or the 31 get too stretched out. So it'll be interesting to keep tabs on that. Moment though, Jordan Hurley back up front in the 0-2, right in front of the 31 of James Sheenwolf, and we'll see that battle start to pick up here as now how about the 92 of Dustin Carroll, Hunter, working his way into 5th.
Yeah, Dustin Carroll at one point looked like he was trying to pass. Oh, we got a wreck, big wreck, 3 cars involved. 3rd caution going to come out. That's Eli Green in the 28. Saw Bobby Tinch in the 66 sideways. Got one to go replay to see what happened.
Saw it was the 66, like you mentioned, there in the 18 as well.
This was the lap before. There was a car in the wall back there. That was the lap previous to the caution that came out. So you see right behind the 66, that's the 18 of Caleb Steimer. Might have been the 3rd car involved in this. So you see a run from Eli Green. Oh, he just sent it. Wow, and there you see the 66 again hit the rear end going up in the air. And the clip in the top of the wall there might have clipped a little bit of the catch fence. You saw was their rear end flying off.
I don't think Bobby Tinch anticipated Eli at all getting underneath him there going into turn 3.
No, you see the 28. He just had a big send there going into turn 3. He wasn't backing down. He's had a rough night. I'm pretty sure he didn't want to wait any longer to make a move.
He was there. I'll give him credit, but I just don't think the 66 obviously inspected that to happen at all.
No, it was an aggressive send from the 28, and there you'll see 66 sliding up. Caleb Steimer's going to have nowhere to go. He's going to hit the rear, and you're going to see the rear end fly off the car.
Hits and almost into the
Actually,
fence,
that's the hood. My apologies, that's the hood.
The 18's hood, yeah. Well, I love the damage model on these cars. They look so cool. I mean, cool for us, not cool for them, though, when they see parts flying off.
And that replay was brought to you by Sim Speed Shop. We'd like to give a big thanks to Sim Speed Shop for their support of the Sim Speed Shop Cup Series this season. Racers can visit their website at www.simspeedshop.com to find multiple items to complete their virtual racing setups, such as button boxes, wheels, racing gear, and more. That's www.simspeedshop.com. And you can catch the Sim Speed Shop Cup Series every Thursday night live on the Uriah Twitch channel at 8:40 Eastern. So that's our third caution here, lap number 84.
We were talking about the ARCA car, being, it's a, those who don't know iRacing, it's a D class. So it's basically one of the first stock cars you get into, and they don't have cautions in the official series at all. So this being, having green and yellows here could be different to some of these ARCA drivers.
Oh, absolutely, it could be.
But I think they have fuel to the end now. What do you think there, Jay?
I think for sure everybody's good on fuel, and like I was trying to talk about a little bit there in the last caution, if we get, these cautions kind of, what's the word, cautions breed cautions, if that starts happening, I think it really will make this race turn on its head, because for the most part, our whole top 5, top 6, really, you can even throw Trevor Williams in the mix. They seem to be super even on the short run. It's the long run where we see the O2 start to stretch it out on the field. So if we get some more yellow flags, I wouldn't be shocked to see, kind of an upset winner in this thing.
Yeah, and the 40 of Robinson, he passed for 4th place there on the restart. Looks like he's going to restart on the outside here whenever we get the one to go. It'll be interesting to see how he gets how he restarts this race, because basically it's been the top 2 pulling away to about a second of a gap between those 2 and the 3rd place driver. So it'll be interesting to see how the 40 Robinson goes, because he seems to be the only car outside of the top 2 that can run down the O2 of Hurley and the 31 of Sheenwolf.
Our double filed, working now for another restart here at Dover. At the front row, how about the O2 being a Dodge? It's one of the only Dodges I think we've seen in the field, and for much part of the for the iRacing service. Obviously, technically, boil it down, every car is a Chevrolet, but the different stickers on the O2, he's got the Dodge layout, a little old school, and behind him the 19's running the Ford Mustang for Infinite Gaming as well, Rick Christensen. So different looks up front. And a lot of different teams up front is another thing I was going to mention. You got the O2, who's independent. The 31, James Sheenwolf, races for Audible Racing. See Infinite Gaming up there. Vader Motorsports is up there. Samson Motorsports is up there. So, whole mixed bag up front.
Pace truck. Hard left turn on the pit road. The O2 of Hurley is going to lead the field back to green flag conditions at any moment. I'm surprised he didn't go yet. Now he goes. The inside line didn't go, though. Rick Christensen kind of spun the tires there.
That'll stack him up outside the top 4. Great break for Trevor Williams, who restarted 6th. Now he's joined inside the top 4 positions as he's running right behind Matthew Robinson there up front, though. James Sheenwolf looking to the outside of the O2 of Jordan Hurley, not able to make the move. He's going to tuck back down in line. Up front, though, those 2 are still going at it. James Sheenwolf peeks again to the outside for the lead as they work down the front straightaway. It's side by side into turn 1.
Sheenwolf's going to take that spot away for the moment and clear the O2 of Hurley. So put the 31 of James Sheenwolf into the lead. Now Hurley's got the 40 of Robinson looking underneath him as they go into turn 3. Well, I was saying that was a big break for Robinson there, because he was restarting on the outside. Christensen didn't go, and that was a breaking point for the 40. The O2
so
there.
Run the O2 got there off of turn 4. Yeah, he tucked right back up to James Sheenwolf. And now Rick Christensen's looking underneath the 1 of Trevor Williams. I told you this top 6 is pretty evenly matched on the short run.
Looked like Williams might have clipped the wall there coming out of turn 2. He's keeping it straight, though. But yeah, we've seen it all night. The top 2 pull away from the rest of the field, but now the top 6 are here. Oh, there's the 92 of Carroll sideways there, coming off 4. He keeps it straight, and we stay green flag here. So O2 of Hurley's got a... He's got a mirror full of the 40 of Robinson. Robinson clipped the wall.
Disappointing there, because 92, that was the first time tonight we really saw him mixing it up with the leaders. I think Dustin Carroll has the speed in that car. Let's see if he makes his way back up front, but as you mentioned there, Matthew Robinson's really pushing it hard to try to get around this O2.
Yeah, he clipped the wall there last. Ooh, pardon me. He clipped the wall there last time by, and the one and Williams almost did it. So he's trying to look to the outside, trying to generate a run. Cut back down to the bottom. Oh, he's loose. Way loose. Almost gets it in the wall. Now here comes Christensen on the bottom to take third away.
Christensen's going to clear him, slide up the racetrack in front of them, and get the run off the corner. Another person that adds to the mix now is the one of Trevor Williams, is right back up to the back bumper of the 40. And how about it?
Don't look now, but Nick Calda's there too. He can creep into the picture at any moment.
I was going to mention Nolan Neiman sneaking up inside the top 10.
Oh, Carroll still sideways coming off the 4. Boy, that 92 of Dustin Carroll, he's got a handful.
It makes another move back underneath Rick Christensen now for third. They're side by side through 3 and 4 for third. You see the battle between Dustin Carroll and Gary Lewis for 8th. Robinson's going to get around for third. Carroll's still trying to hold off Lewis.
I was going to say, that could have been bad if the 92 got loose there coming out of 4.
Can happen. I'm telling you, these things are so loose when you get down onto the straightaways and trying to balance the race car when it comes from, you know, the high banked corners of Dover onto the flatter straightaways. It just really upsets the handle, especially on the colder tires. Up front though, Hunter, James Sheenwolf is stretching out that lead a little bit.
Stretching out a lot. We got about for second now. Robinson's closed in quite a bit on the 0-2 of Hurley. There he goes, making a move on the 0-2 of Hurley. Hurley's going to get loose, slide up the track, give second to Robinson. And now here comes Christensen behind.
I would not count out Jordan Hurley yet, though, if there's any 0-2 fans out there in chat. We saw, I mean, he was so quick on the long runs. Nobody was within shouting distance of him once he got out front. So, if we get some green flag laps here, I think that 0-2 will be making his way right back up to the top spot. But right now, the field is being controlled by James Sheenwolf. We'll see how long that'll last. We still got 35 laps to go.
I would say that's the best thing Sheenwolf could have seen, because we know that he's got a short run car with short run speed, and seeing the 0-2 and the 40 battling with Christensen and Trevor Williams, that would have been pretty good for Sheenwolf. A little relief off his shoulder so he can focus on the car, and who knows, maybe he can turn it into a long run speed out of that 31 car.
I think we already are starting to see it. The 0-2 is kind of tucking back up underneath the 40 of Robinson, so I don't think Hurley, I think he does the best job so far tonight out of all these drivers of just putting it smooth and pushing it when he needs to. As you see the 31 now, he's going around the lap car. That's 3 of Kevin Hayes, who's giving these guys plenty of room, so Kevin obviously doing a good job out here on track. We saw him get caught up in a couple of things and in caution flags that we've seen tonight. But I was going to mention, Hunter, boys, you see the tight battle there between the 69 and all these guys.
Oh, he's in the wall.
Get
the
you
one
there
behind
for a
the design
second.
cars got into the wall. Looks like
Brandon
that
Hedrick in the
was,
12.
I think that was a 69 of Gary Lewis. Yep. Still at war with the monster.
Got Brandon, who's kind of working his way inside the top 10 in that number 12 car. He's still got a few more spots to go, but he's had a quiet night now. We haven't seen him up front inside the top 10 all night long, and here we go towards the end of this thing, and we see him starting to creep into the picture. But I was going to talk specifically about the 7th place car of Nolan Neiman, Hunter. We talked about it in the race earlier on in the pre-show that Nolan, ran super strong last week at Vegas, and it kind of felt like the momentum was starting to shift his way. He even, I think he was battling there for the lead at parts of the race. He was really, really strong, and there was a lot of speed in the 15. And he kind of has carried it over into Dover now, entering the top 10, getting around the lap car with Kevin Hayes again. But I think the momentum is swinging towards the Nolan Neiman team.
Indeed, it looks like it. And the momentum might be swinging towards the 40 and the 0-2 of Robinson and Hurley. They've closed in quite a bit on the gap between Sheenwolf and those two. They're running lap times are about 10th quicker than our leader right now. The gap at one point was up to 2.2. It's now down to 1.5.
Robinson's got his hands full. Wow.
Sideways there off of 4 was the 40 of Robinson. He keeps it straight. They've got a lap car up ahead. It's the 18 of Caleb Steimer. Meanwhile, though, look like he's going to make a move on the 40 here as they go down the backstretch. Puts the 18 in a rough spot. So they get by him with these, but that's going to move Hurley into the 2nd spot.
It's not what you want to see, like you mentioned, if you're James Sheenwolf, is to see the O2 pass the 40 with such ease, and now that lead's already dwindled from 2 seconds to 1.7, 1.6. The O2 is kicking it into high gear here with 26 laps to go.
Oh. Cars are getting a little wide there coming out of turn 4, Sheenwolf and Hurley. But yeah, Hurley really starting to reel in the 31 now.
We've seen it within the last lap or two.
Yeah.
You know, almost a second already cut off that lead.
That last lap by Hurley ran a lap time 0.3 quicker than our leader Sheenwolf. We're right on board with it. See what is that time by. 24.5 for Sheenwolf, a 23.9 for Jordan Hurley. So over half a second faster that last lap.
I mean, you can visually see it on your screen right now, right on board with the O2. That 31 is getting bigger and bigger in quick order. And also, not to mention, the 40 Matthew Robinson kind of following suit. He's obviously not gaining on the leader as quick, but he still cut that lead down to 1.5 seconds as well.
He's closing down on the leader too, but yeah, just not as quick as Jordan Hurley's doing. Be interesting to see here when the O2 makes a move on the lead for Sheenwolf, what the 31 car will do. Oh, he almost clipped the wall there. I was about to say, he might put it in the fence.
Think of your Sheenwolf, man. You just got to fight for everything you're worth. You want this O2 to burn up his tires. But really, the best thing for this 31 team would be a caution. I mean, he stretched out a huge lead in a short run there. It's the long run that we just see the 31 not able to grasp.
Oh, if I'm the 31 of Sheenwolf, I'm gonna try and put the O2 of Hurley to the outside, protect the bottom, the shortest way around the track. Don't give him that bottom.
Hard. I mean, at Dover, you slide off the corners so much, it's just hard not to use the outside lane once you're going down the straightaways. And if you don't have that angle getting down to turn 3, dropping it from the top to the bottom, you just won't have the speed.
31's gonna slide, nearly hit the wall there.
You can see these guys driving it sideways off the corner.
The more time the O2 stays behind the leader, he's gonna get into the back of him. Wow. Say the more time Hurley spends behind Sheenwolf, the more time that gives Robinson to close in.
Robinson's just got to be licking his chops right now, because you mentioned it, Hunter. He's closing in with these guys battling like that. He was 1.5 seconds back. He's trimmed off about 0.5 seconds once the O2 got to the back bumper of the 31. So, like you said, I think he's listening to you, Hunter. He's protecting that bottom. He's not letting Jordan Hurley look underneath him whatsoever.
No, that's the shortest way around the track. And now the O2's going to try and see what his car can do up top.
He's doing what they were doing qualifying, really. He's entering high and, building up that momentum and rocketing off the corner on the bottom. So, idea. He's going to just keep trying, try something different and find a way to build up the momentum to get around the race leader.
Oh, they got a good bit of lap traffic there. You see the 3 of Hayes down on the bottom.
That's going to add a whole different layer. You see one car pull off the track there. I believe that's the 34 Rick Ward. But that's going to really mess up the line of James Sheenwolf.
Yep, here comes O2 of Hurley down to the bottom, looking for the lead, side by side, going into turn 1. Sheenwolf trying to fight for his life up top. The O2 of Hurley trying to fight for the lead down on the bottom. They're neck and neck going into 3.
Hurley right now has kind of got the disadvantage when it comes to the exit of the corners. He's not able to slide off the, slide up the track, which now he clears the 31 and he is able to do so. But Sheenwolf was doing a good job trying to pinch him on the exit.
Yeah, Sheenwolf put up a decent fight there on the outside. It's just that gaggle of lap cars there that kind of squiggled everything up there. That allows the O2 of Hurley to squeeze on by the 31 of Sheenwolf.
Down squiggle to the scorecard. We're going to have to remember that word going forward. Now, we got 16 laps to go for the O2 of Jordan Hurley. Just got around the 31 of James Sheenwolf. Question is, does anybody have anything for the O2? I think the only thing that'll really mix up this field is if we're able to get a caution and watch a chaotic late race restart. But other than that, the long runs, man, the O2 just seems untouchable. And look at the lead he's already building.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this will play into a factor or not, but these guys are going to be well over 50 laps if this thing goes green to the end on their run. I don't know if fuel will be a concern, but tires might be a little bit of a concern for some of these guys.
I think under that last caution, there was a few guys that came down and took their final set of tires. So, you know, that's something you got to factor into it again. If we do end up with a yellow flag, obviously the leaders are going to come down and get fresh tires, but not everybody else can. And they'll be restarting at the front of the field on super old tires.
So you see they're working around the 3 of Kevin Hayes again. Actually, whoa! Sheenwolf there, he was at the bumper of Hayes and just laid back all of a sudden. Now that
Hayes on the fresh tires is way quicker than these guys.
All right, that explains it then.
I was watching him getting around the 40 as well. He looked really quick, so he was around these leaders quickly and trying to do it cleanly as well, not to impact the ending of this race here. As he's reeling in our race leader, the O2 Jordan Hurley too. So it'll be fun to watch him try to get around there. I mean, right now though, he's over a half second quicker a lap. He is 8 laps down. So
yeah. The battle for second starting to heat up again. Robinson closing in on the 31 of Sheenwolf there.
Yeah, Rick Christensen, and you called it out there, Hunter. How about Nick Halda entering the top 5 and snagging that 5th spot for the moment?
Yeah, Nick Halda with a really solid run, although there's still 10 laps to go when they cross the line. He can improve that finish up to second if he could.
Mention if he's able to get this top 5, it would actually be his first top 5 since he won at Daytona.
Yep, he's got about 10 more laps to do so. So right now, Jordan Hurley looking like he's gonna tame the monster here. Nothing happens within the next 10 laps or so.
The ultimate jinx you just laid down on him. But yeah, no, I do agree with you. He's looking in pretty good shape. Laps to go. He's working down the front straightaway now. It's going to be 9 to go when he hits the stripe. So just a few more miles for Jordan Hurley to try to navigate here, as he's got no lap traffic in front of him. The first lap car is going to be the 3 of Kevin Hayes, but obviously Hayes on the fresh tire is actually pulling away from the O2, so really no lap traffic for him to deal with either. A little bit of a battle towards the back of the pack that we're watching here. It's the 12 of Brandon Hedrick and the 69 of Gary Lewis. That's for the 10th spot, which to these drivers, Hunter, those stats matter, man. They want those top 10s. They want those top 5s, so they know what spot they're in.
I was going to say, this is the battle that I was focusing on. The 40 of Robinson looked like he was side by side with Sheenwolf at one point. Then I had to back out of it. Yeah, much quicker
than Sheenwolf right now.
Going to try and diamond it up here through 3 and 4, get a run on the bottom. Oh, he's going to stay tucked in behind Sheenwolf, though.
Should get him here on the backstretch, I think. Like you mentioned, he's using that diamond line and just getting such a run off these corners by hugging the bottom of the track. And Sheenwolf just slides so much off of each corner.
I feel like he'll make it this time by.
Really, it's kind of dependent on how the 31 exits the corner. Each time he slides up off the corner, he loses a little bit more ground, and it allows the 40 to tuck up to him. I think Robinson's playing it patient. He doesn't want to just send it down in there yet. He wants to know he can complete the pass, which is why he's kind of backing out of it and just following in line until he knows he's got a strong enough run to be able to clear the 31 of James Sheenwolf. But really, this battle is all we got when it comes through the top 10. Up front, you know, Hurley's pulled away, and this race for second starting to heat up.
Yeah, Christensen kind of sitting there waiting to see if any contact will be made between these two.
I don't even want to mention Rick's name right now, because if we jinx him, I'll just be heartbroken for him yet again. So I'll just focus on this second place battle, and hopefully for Rick's sake, we can just get to the end here.
Yeah, Sheenwolf's starting to pull away a little bit from the 40 of Robinson. Got 4 laps to go now.
No, now it looks like James has got, you know, the stronger car than the 40. It looks like the tire situation kind of flipped, and he's pulling away a little bit now. But front, man, we got to talk about it, Hunter. Jordan Hurley, in 3 races, he will have 2 poles, and tonight he started 3rd. this would be his second win. And guess where he finished in the first race where he didn't win, Hunter? And his first start of the season at Homestead, where he was able to, at Iowa, where he was able to grab the pole. He came in, he finished second. So how about a second, a first, and a potential another first place here tonight?
Yeah, but he's got to make it around 2 more times. You saw that last time, but it looked like he almost got in the turn 4 wall. But a really solid night for Jordan Hurley in this 02 car.
And he had to earn it. You know, he wasn't the quickest car on the short run, and he didn't really have the track position on the short run either. Each and every time by, he seemed to get quicker and quicker as the run went on, and the longer runs just really, really favored the 02. And you know, it's just the tire conservation he's able to do as he takes the white flag here presented by 1 to go. The tire conservation and the way he's able to manage these long runs has proved to be key for this 02.
Yep, his first race he finished second, and then his second race he finished first. And as he works his way through turns 3 and 4 for the final time, he's going to pick up his second win in 3 races in the Uriah Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. Coming off of turn 4, Jordan Hurley wins at Dover. And in the back, you see it's going to be Sheenwolf holding on to second from Matthew Robinson, who gets third, Rick Christensen fourth, and then rounding out the top 5, Nicholas Hulda, his first top 5 since Daytona.
He had a few other strong runs for a lot of those people in the back half of the top 10, but again, the 02 man, Jordan Hurley, dominant performance here tonight. Definitely a deserving victory for the 02, and see the James Sheenwolf there showing him some love, and Matthew Robinson as well. It's going to be the second straight week where we see the Jordan Hurley machine go to victory lane.
Still just a plain white car.
Yeah. Well, we got the Elwood Designs logo on the quarter panel, I see.
Right.
I imagine somebody's probably going to end up wanting their name on that hood or something. Some kind of company's going to want to put their name on the 02 machine as he's burning it down on the front straightaway here at Dover. Back-to-back wins for Jordan Hurley in the Swift Lifestyles Pro Series.
Might want to sponsor the bumper. He'll get a good look at the second place. We'll get a good look at what's sponsoring the 02.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh, he hits the wall. He did that. Now he'll pass post-race inspection.
That's what he did it for. Nice aerial shot there as we set up for our interviews, Hunter. We get a chance to talk to our top 3 finishers, and let's start it off with third place Matthew Robinson.
Sorry, I just had the worst sneeze of all time. And joining us, Matthew Robinson in the 40. It's Hunter, Jake, and Harold in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, you had a bit of an interesting night there. You didn't get a good qualifying run in, but slowly but surely throughout the race, you worked your way up inside the top 10, inside the top 5, and then you come home third. You kind of talk us through your night.
Yeah, didn't, like you said, didn't have a good qualifying run, and had to work my way up through there, and just be patient the whole time, trying not to get into anyone or cause any trouble. And then first pit stop, I got caught speeding, so I had to start in the tail end, and had to come up through there again. But third, I'm happy with third, man. Jordan was quick. He saved his tires pretty good. He deserved that win.
Oh, excuse me. So you got third place there. Obviously, where did my thought just go? I just had a thought. My apologies. Not really sure where that went, but you got third place here tonight. Take us through that last restart, because it looked like at one point you were going to contend for the win, and then the 02 just sort of got past you there as soon as you caught the lap car. As the laps tick down.
Yeah, Jordan was taking it pretty easy at the beginning there on that restart, and I think he was just saving his stuff, and I think I just burnt my stuff up, and he just motored on by me, and he pulled on pretty good. Definitely had this track down pat. I sort of like this track, but pretty fun track. But no, I just burnt my stuff up there, and that was probably the worst run I had the whole run. It's probably the longest run, but compared to tire wear with the other ones, this was the worst one. But no, he just did it better than anyone else today. But no, just didn't have the car or the driver.
See you back in 2 weeks because we obviously have the off week coming up. I'm sure that's something a lot of these guys are looking forward to. But I want to give you a chance to shout out your team, your sponsors. Obviously, we know JW Racing helps you out a ton.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Justin right out with JW Racing. He's up helping me tonight, and just here to have fun, man. We're all having a good time. Good series, good people racing in it, and pretty clean. Just a good time. I'd like to thank all y'all at area, and I'd like to thank Track Racer. You can use JW Racing as a discount code. Yep, and that's probably about it. I'd like to thank everyone, all y'all, for doing the broadcast.
Man, well,
Alrighty.
we will see you back in 2 weeks. Your third place finisher, Matthew Robinson. And I think we got the winner in here. So we can go out of order a little bit, which I'm sure I'm messing up somebody somewhere. But we're going to talk to our race winner and get a chance to chat with him as quick as we can. And it's the 0-2 of Jordan Hurley. He goes back to back. And Jordan, you led 69 laps tonight, which I think a lot of people would say that was nice. But how about the back-to-back victories for you in the Swift Lifestyles Pro Series?
Yeah, I guess it feels good. I guess thought I blew it there the last run there for a second. I let James get pretty far out. I was a little nervous I wasn't going to be able to run him back down. It did have him kind of on a string all night, so but I was a little worried, and I ended up hitting the wall. I was kind of just a lapse of focus there for a second. I got behind Matthew, and I was like, man, I might actually be in real trouble here for a second. But luckily, we were able to run him back down and ended up not falling to the back. And maybe qualifying on pole isn't the best strategy for us. We got to qualify further back, and we can win, not have our up and down night.
I was going to mention it, and you just kind of took the words right out of my mouth. So the tire strategy, or tire management, really seemed to be so key for you tonight. And you kind of just alluded to it, saying you let Sheenwolf essentially get out front, burn off his tires in some form, and then kind of reel him back in. Or what were you doing so to make you so much stronger and faster on the long run? Because obviously it paid off.
I mean, I just kind of was focusing on, instead of just pulling, dropping the plow out like I had the last couple of races, instead of kind of stay a little closer this time and let him race a little bit harder and then reel him back in instead of, just taking it slow and steady. I think that worked out a lot better this way around, definitely. And yeah, it was a good race. Good race. A lot better than making it dramatic.
Yeah, you really had the long run speed there at the very end. Congrats on the win, Jordan. Any special shout outs or sponsors you want to give out before you go?
Shout out to the boys back home, Cody and Conrad. They really fixed this car up real good for me. Shout out to Brad, greatest admin of all time. Thanks to Alan for the amazing paint scheme. It's beautiful. And that's about it, I think. And thanks you guys for broadcasting. You guys do a great job.
You did a great job as well, bringing that home. Second win in 3 races for Jordan Hurley. Thanks for coming up.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that was your race winner, Jordan Hurley. And now let's bring up second place finisher, James Sheenwolf. James, it's Jake, Hunter, and Harold in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, you almost had it there at the very end. You had the short run speed, couldn't have the long run speed. Take us through that last restart. You were trying to hold off the 0-2 as much as you can, but in the end, just wasn't enough.
Yeah, he put the bumper to me a couple times, but no harm, no foul, man. That was awesome, actually. I enjoyed that. I don't mind getting shuffled out of the way or anything like that as long as I don't get dumped. And he was doing a really good job of trying to break me out of the groove. But, yeah, all in all, man, just had no long run speed. I forgot. Honestly, I'm not trying to make excuses. I forgot to change my steering ratio, so I was just hoping I can get out to a big enough lead to hold him back or hold him off, or get a late race caution. But ultimately, it didn't work out. He was just that much better, man. He was rolling on them long runs.
Well, I think
Can't
the
take
steering
nothing away from
ratio.
him.
I think the steering ratio comment, obviously a lot of other drivers are going to be able to relate with that because you make the adjustment for qualifying, you forget to change it back, and then you kind of know you're sitting duck there on the long runs. But obviously the speed was still there in the 31. I kind of wanted to touch on the team because you're racing for Audible Racing. You got Adam Capps as your team owner and your teammate. What do these runs mean for the team?
It's definitely a good momentum boost with coming in late and stuff like that. Adam's also the owner of Audible Entertainment. which is a DJ company out in Tennessee. So if anybody ever needs a DJ, make sure to get with him. But yeah, no, it's definitely helping. He's still adjusting to it. This is his first actual league, so outside of running officials, he's not used to these long races and stuff like that. So we're still trying to get him acclimated to that and how to run these things and things of that nature. But yeah, man, it helps the team out a lot when we have a decent finish, whether it be myself or him. So being up here, being top 3, contending for wins, definitely means a lot to us. We're thankful for the opportunity that you guys over here, presented to us with letting us start up a team and be a part of this, even though we joined late. So shout out to you guys at Aria for doing that, man. It's been a blast so far this season.
Absolutely, man. Well, it's been a blast watching you run and compete for the wins. And like you said, a little action here and there, but some pushing, some shoving. It adds another layer, and it's exciting to watch. So we're gonna let you go here, James. Before, if you want to give any shout outs, obviously you mentioned Audible Entertainment.
Yeah, shout out to Audible. Shout out to Jordan on the win, man. I cannot take nothing away from him there. He was rolling. Thank you to Matthew Robinson for running me as clean as he did there. I know I was kind of holding him up there at the end of the race. You guys up here in the booth, man, Want to Go Studios, you guys always put on a hell of a broadcast. One of my favorites to go back and watch. And to Jake Bell and everybody at Aria for putting this show on, man. Nowhere else I'd rather spend my weekdays than racing here.
Alrighty, James. Well, appreciate the kind words, man, and we'll see you back in 2 weeks after an off week.
Yeah, man, maybe we'll get it together enough to be able to steal one of these things.
There we go. Well, I think we'll see you here in the victory lane pretty soon. You were my pick tonight, so I think you're due. We'll have to see what you got at Nashville.
Appreciate it. That's why I didn't win. Commentators curse.
Hold on a second. I picked the winner last time. I picked the winner last time, so I thought I was going to get another one, but I'll take it.
You know, James, that's if I pick. If I pick you, it's the commentator curse.
Gotcha.
You don't want James. You don't want me picking you. I picked Dom tonight, and Dom got off early, and I know I picked you a couple times in the other series we had you, and Hunter picks on me all the time. He's like, if Harold picks him, you know what's happening.
Yeah,
That's great.
My pick tonight didn't do good as well. You got the short end of the commentators curse there. We'll let you go and celebrate second.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, that was James Sheenwolf in the number 83. Let's go ahead and take a look at our Elwood Design race recap one more time. Jordan Hurley got the win, leading a race high 69 laps. 3 cautions on the night for 12 laps. And Sheenwolf held that fastest lap, a 23.173. We'll go ahead and get you your finishing results here. Jordan Hurley comes away with the win. James Sheenwolf second, Matthew Robinson third, Rick Christensen fourth. Rounding out the top 5, Nicholas Halda. Then 6th through 10th will be Dustin Carroll, Trevor Williams, Sean Corcoran, Forrest Smith, and Gary Lewis rounding out the top 10. And then 11th on back, you'll find Brandon Hedrick in the 12, Brian Dixon finishing 12th, Nolan Neiman 13th, Jeremy Horn 14th, and Caleb Steinberg 15th. JJ Wang, Kevin Hayes, Bobby Tinch, Rick Ward, 16th through 20th, and then the last 4 spots, Dominic DeLeo, Eli Green, Ryan Swan, and Eric Shugart. All right, guys, any final thoughts here as we head into an off week, Jake?
I think everybody's kind of looking forward to the off week, son, right? It's been a fun 5 weeks, but when you got 5 straight races back to back like this, it's an easy way to either build momentum or lose momentum. So the off week, I'm looking forward to. I think it'll kind of reset everybody, reset the field, much needed break, and then we'll come back in 2 weeks here for the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series at Nashville. I think it's going to be an exciting one there.
Harold, any final thoughts here before we wrap it up?
Well, just to pick on the off week, I get to actually work with one of our sponsors, travel with the Lottie's Travel World, and we're going to be going on a cruise. So that's one of the reasons why we're taking a break. But I'll come back rested, that's for sure.
Go.
And you know what? I just realized since we have next Monday off, Steelers play Monday night next week, so that'll be good for me, and I get to watch my Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Chicago Bears.
Go.
Yeah, It's a win-win-win for everyone here at Araya. You can catch our next broadcast tomorrow night. The Northern Capital Truck Series takes on the Monster Mile, 140 laps here. You'll find Harold and Ken on the call. And that should do it here from all of us. Executive producer Harold Darner, second-hand man Jacob Bell. I'm your lead announcer, Hunter Sleppy, saying so long, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
What an exciting race brought to you by Wendigo Studios. Here they come out of turn 4 to the white flag, and it's 1 to go. Thank you to all our sponsors, drivers, and viewers. We'll see you at the next